let's get into what happened this week. And I'll just ask the fundamental question that I ask almost in every aspect of Tim Tebow: why? Why that I ask at the NFL draft last year? Why would Jacksonville not want to draft Tim Tebow? And then I guess their answer to that was they thought they had their savior, their franchise. They put their trust in David Garrard over Tim Tebow. And I once again have to ask why, because every time Tim Tebow comes up, according to these NFL-type people and the so-called draft experts, he's a risk. He's a risk. He's a risk. Well, everybody's a risk.
Everybody's a risk.
You mean David Garrard wasn't a risk?
I mean,
apparently so. Apparently he was a pretty big risk.
Unless you're Ndamukong Suh or like Peyton Manning, I'd argue a majority of the players. In fact, it is a majority of the players are risks, and there's expectations to all those rules.
So, I mean, that's the question I asked back then, and I would ask right now. What to Gene Smith? Now we want to try to get the general manager of Jacksonville on the show. We have to work on trying to contact him and get him on the show, and Del Rio for that matter too. But I would just ask Gene Smith, what was it about David Garrard that caused you to want to put your faith and your trust and your professional reputation and the future of your franchise
and your pocketbook? They paid him a good chunk of change,
tens of millions of dollars, by the way. Not one, but two big multi-million-dollar contracts. What was it about David Garrard that caused you to have that kind of trust? And then the second question: what was it about David Garrard or Gerard or whatever his name is? I don't even know the guy's even name. Out of East Carolina, that caused you to have so much trust in him over Tim Tebow, who, oh, by the way, dominated college football for 4 years in the toughest conference in college football. So those are two questions that I want to ask to Gene Smith. I want to ask Del Rio, and we're going to figure out a way to ask him those questions.